Hi, everyone. It's Amy, and I'm going to make a quick video about the new moon happening in the sign of Gemini on the 6th of June at 10:36 p.m. Sydney time. Now, with any new moon occurring in Gemini, there's going to be a lot of opportunity to start new communications projects like writing, speaking, podcasting, media, making new social connections. It's also a time where we can feel quite busy in our mind, like our thoughts are just racing and we're on our phone, sending lots of texts, sending lots of emails, or just on our social media accounts, probably a little too much interacting and commenting on things. I'll just share my screen so I can see what I'm going to be raving on about in a bit more detail with the new moon. Okay, hang on, just let me fix that up. Okay. Now, as we can see, that didn't work. So we can see the new moon is down here in Gemini at 16 degrees, and it's also conjunct Venus. Venus is at the same degree as the new moon. So this basically means that Venus has gone through her purification process with the sun. So there's going to be new ways we do Venus topics with this new moon, like connections, new ways of doing romance, new ways of doing love, new ways of doing pleasure, new ways of dealing with women as well. We can also see with this new moon that Saturn down here in Pisces is going to be throwing a square, so connecting tensely with the new moon, which can cause some blockages and delays with this new moon. There could be a sense of, I really want to start this, but first I need to take care of this. There could just be some frustrating stumbling blocks that you need to take care of before you can get things moving. Well, okay. And also, I've got to mention that Mercury, that rules the new moon, is also down here in Gemini next to Jupiter. So Mercury is going to have ample resources. Mercury rules the new moon. So Mercury's got ample resources because it's in its own sign of Gemini to provide support and give whatever's starting now what it needs, a fair bit of support and resources. So all in all, this is a fairly positive new moon. It's going to give us a lot of opportunity to really get our messages out there and speak up and find new people that can really help us. But the only thing is, there's going to be things that you need to work out, blockages that you're going to need to deal with, and obstacles that you're going to need to overcome before those things, whatever it might be, can start for you. All right. Now I will get into the horoscopes. So, anyway, I've got to get rid of that circle. There we go. Okay. So, if you are an Aries rising, this new moon will be occurring in your third house. So third house topics have to do with communications. So that's really going to be accentuated for you guys, especially new social connections in your local community. You could be starting new media stuff like podcasting and YouTube channels. The only thing with this square from Saturn is there could be some people you don't realize sabotaging your what you want to start, or you're being your own worst enemy, thinking, I really want to do this podcast, but no one's really going to give a shit about what I have to say, so it's going to fail miserably. All right. If you are a Taurus rising, this new moon will be happening in the second house. So the second house has to do with our income and resources. So that you could be, especially with Gemini being a mutable sign, you could be starting a number of new income streams. I would just be careful that if you do start a new income stream with a friend, because Saturn's up here in the 11th house, you could come with some issues. So just be really careful if you're starting a new income stream with a friend, or just exercise some patience and caution. All right. If you are a Gemini rising, this new moon is happening in your sign. So when the first house has to do with our vitality, our appearance, just us in general. So you could be presenting a new you to the world, or there could be some new cycles in a lot of areas of life opening up for you. There can also be this feeling with Saturn up in the 10th house that, you know, I really want to go down this path, but the career I've got is just not budging or really letting it happen at this time. So I need to figure that out, how I'm going to balance, or how I'm going to, you know, deal with this new cycle that's opening up and how it conflicts with my career. All right, if you are a Cancer rising, this new moon is happening in your 12th house. So I think all in all with Cancer rising, you're probably just going to want to be left the hell alone. Your vitality is going to be a little weaker, and you probably just need some time out. Just take it easy. But the thing with the Saturn square is, especially if you're doing some form of study, you could probably be really feeling like shit and just need to rest, but your obligations with your study program are getting in the way of that. Or even you could be like, you know, I really need to take this time out to take care of myself, but your belief and systems towards work could be, but, you know, I really think I believe that I really need to push myself at work to achieve. Yeah, so if you are, I think the mouse is playing up. If you are a Leo rising, this new moon is happening in your 11th house. So you're going to have a lot of opportunity to make some new friends come into your life, especially maybe new groups that you're joining that have to do with women. New opportunities to make more money with your career as well, because it's the second from the 10th. I would be careful though, if you are starting something new with a group of people, that if there's finances involved because of the square from Saturn, it could come with some issues. You could also want to be starting something new with friends, but your obligations you have to another person are getting in the way. All right, if you are a Virgo rising, this new moon is happening in your 10th house. So new opportunities with your career are coming towards you, new career projects, new ways you present yourself to the world. You could hear news of receiving honours or awards. It's just whatever you start now or whatever happens now, because of Saturn in the 7th house, your relationships can cause some problems, and probably you need to work out your partner's attitude to what you're starting. He could be like, yeah, no, I really don't like you doing that, and you need to tell him to piss off, I'm doing it. If you are a Libra rising, this new moon is occurring in your 9th house. So some of you can be taking on some study, organising a trip overseas, joining a new spiritual or religious centre. With the Saturn square coming from the 6th house, if you just say you are going for a trip overseas, you might think, oh, what am I going to do with my cat? Or, you know, I really want to go at this time, but work's saying I can't, that sort of stuff. Or if you are starting a new form of study, the work you are doing now needs to be, you might need to figure out a new roster so you can actually achieve the study you want to do. All right, if you are a Scorpio rising, this new moon is happening in your 8th house. So some of you could be starting applications for loans, beginning the process of clearing a debt. Can also be a time where you hear news about inheritance as well. With Saturn squaring this new moon from the 5th house, if you are putting in a loan application, you might realise that to get this loan, I need to cut back on my hobbies and what I do for fun so I can get this loan to help me. All right, if you are a Sagittarius rising, this new moon is happening in your 7th house. So there's a lot of you could be forming new business partnerships, meeting someone that's going to be a potential partner for the first time. It's also what I see with Saturn down here in your 4th house. You know, I really want to do this. There can be a feeling of I really want to do this thing with another person, but the obligations I have with my home and family situation need to be sorted out before I can start it. All right, if you are a Cap rising or Capricorn rising, the new moon will be occurring in your 6th house. So some of you could just be starting a new job, starting new work opportunities. The 6th house is also associated with small pets, so you could be getting a new pet. And with Gemini usually indicates more than one, so you could probably end up with 2 cats instead of 1. Or you see this kitten you really want and it's got a sibling that you take with it. All right. The only thing I see here with Saturn squaring it is it could become with some, you know, a little bit of stress in the mind with whatever's occurring now. All right. If you are a Aquarius rising, this new moon will be happening in your 5th house. So with Saturn squaring the new moon from the 2nd house, you know, you could really be wanting to start this new hobby or creative project, but your finances are the problem, or what resources you have are limited to what you can put into it. Or you could probably find that you're asked on a date and where they want to go, you haven't got the money for, or something like that. All right. If you are a Pisces rising, this new moon is happening in your 4th house. So the new opportunities with home and family and parents. You could finally buy a place, find the rental, or hear news that you have to move out. And with Saturn squaring the new moon from the 1st house, you know, just say you are purchasing a house, it probably is causing you a lot of stress and you need to figure out how you can get your head around this without causing you too much worry. All right, well, thanks for listening, everybody, and happy new moon.